Welcome to World Insight. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. A big change is underway in the world of cars, and it's sending shockwaves through the entire industry. The streets of America, once filled with the hum of German engineering, are about to look very different. For decades, German brands like Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Volkswagen have been household names in the United States. These cars weren't just vehicles, they were symbols of status, luxury, and cutting-edge technology. From the suburbs to the city, German cars have been a familiar sight, admired for their performance and style. But now, these automotive giants are making a dramatic retreat from the US market. Showrooms that once buzzed with excitement are growing quiet, and lots that used to be packed with shiny new models are sitting empty. This marks the end of a partnership that helped shape American car culture for generations. German cars were once the go-to choice for celebrities, executives, and car enthusiasts alike. So what's behind this sudden shift? The answer lies in a mix of growing trade tensions, new tariffs, and complicated international politics. As trade wars heat up and extra taxes are slapped on imported vehicles, it's become more expensive and risky for German companies to do business in America. German automakers are being squeezed out, not because Americans have lost their taste for German cars, but because the financial hurdles are simply too high. The result: fewer shipments, canceled orders, and a sharp decline in new models arriving on US soil. Plans to build new factories or expand existing ones have been put on hold. Major investments that were supposed to create jobs and boost local economies are now off the table. The impact is being felt on both sides of the Atlantic. Factory workers in Germany and the US are losing jobs, and entire communities that depended on these companies are facing an uncertain future. For American car buyers, this means fewer choices on the lot and higher prices for the models that remain. The days of easily finding your dream German car at a local dealership may soon be over. For workers, both in the US and abroad, the future is filled with anxiety and tough questions about what comes next. The once glamorous showrooms that showcase the best of German engineering may soon become relics of a bygone era, a reminder of how quickly the world can change when global forces collide. This problem started with a big move, one that would send shockwaves through the entire auto industry, both in the United States and around the world. It was a decision that would test the strength of American manufacturing and challenge the global order of car production. In April 2025, President Trump's administration announced a sweeping new policy, a 25% extra tax, or tariff, on every car imported from other countries. This wasn't just a small tweak to trade policy. It was a bold, headline-grabbing move designed to shake up the status quo and put America first. The main goal was clear. By making foreign cars more expensive, the administration hoped to give American automakers a fighting chance. The idea was that with higher prices on imports, more people would buy cars made in the USA, boosting local factories, creating jobs, and reviving the heart of American industry. For a brief moment, it seemed like this strategy might work. Some American car companies saw a short-term bump in sales, and there was a sense of renewed optimism in towns that depended on auto manufacturing. But the taxes didn't stop at whole cars. The administration soon expanded the tariffs to include car parts, everything from engines to electronic components, many of which American factories relied on to build their vehicles. By May, these new taxes on imported parts started to disrupt the entire supply chain. Suddenly, American car makers couldn't get the parts they needed or had to pay much more for them. Production lines slowed down, costs soared, and the way cars were made and sold in the US was thrown into chaos. Even after a deal was reached to lower the tariffs to 15%, the damage had already been done. Factories had lost money, workers faced layoffs, and the industry was left scrambling to adapt to the new reality. German car makers who had long relied on the US as a major market suddenly found their business model upended. Companies like Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Volkswagen, which shipped millions of cars to American shores, were forced to rethink their entire strategy. The result: confusion and uncertainty spread across the industry. Car companies, both foreign and domestic, found it nearly impossible to plan for the future or invest in new technologies. The risk of sudden policy changes made long-term growth feel out of reach. In the end, the protective wall meant to save American jobs had an unintended consequence. It pushed German auto giants to scale back or even leave the US market, taking jobs and investment with them, and leaving the American car industry facing more questions than answers. The money problems showed up right away and were really bad. Mercedes-Benz's profits dropped by 56% in the first half of 2025. BMW's fell by 29%. Volkswagen's operating profit went down 33%. Billions of dollars in value disappeared almost overnight. Companies stopped giving out money predictions because they couldn't guess what would happen next. Porsche cut its sales guess by 2 billion euros. Cars sent from Germany to the US dropped by almost a quarter in just 2 months. The US, which used to buy the most cars from Germany, became a dead end for money. The taxes cut off the main way German cars were sent out, forcing them to pull back to save the rest of their business. The gamble didn't work, causing huge money losses for the world's top car makers. Each brand felt the pain. Mercedes-Benz got rid of its profit guesses and warned that sales would drop a lot. Audi stopped sending cars to the US, losing hundreds of millions and cutting profits by almost 40%. Porsche tried to help customers by paying some of the extra costs. But this couldn't last. BMW's factory in the US helped a little, but taxes on cars brought in from other countries really hurt profits. Even Ford, a famous American company, lost $1.5 billion because parts cost more. The message was clear: only companies that could make cars locally would survive. For German giants, the American market became a tough place overnight. The taxes caused a chain reaction throughout the whole car world. Suppliers like ZF Group saw fewer orders, forcing them to make big changes. In Germany, factories cut work shifts and let go of workers. Whole towns faced unsure futures. The pain spread to the US, where thousands of jobs at car dealerships and shipping companies disappeared as German brands left. Even American car makers suffered, as taxes on parts made their own costs go up. The plan meant to create jobs ended up destroying them on both sides of the ocean. The dream of a protected American car industry bumped into the truth that the world is connected. The result? Unexpected, harmful problems for everyone. For decades, the auto industry relied on sprawling global supply chains, shipping parts and finished cars across continents, but recent challenges, like trade wars, rising tariffs, and unpredictable political climates, have forced companies to rethink their strategies. The solution? Build cars where you sell them. This new approach is transforming the way automakers operate, marking the start of what many are calling the build where you sell revolution. Instead of depending on complex worldwide supply chains that can be disrupted by global events, car makers are now focusing on producing vehicles locally. By manufacturing cars closer to their customers, companies can avoid costly import taxes, reduce shipping times, and sidestep many of the political risks that come with cross-border trade. Major brands like Audi and Porsche are exploring joint ventures to build new factories in the United States, aiming to serve American customers directly from within the country. This not only helps them stay competitive but also allows them to respond more quickly to local market demands and regulations. Other automakers are following suit, investing billions of dollars in local infrastructure and setting up manufacturing hubs in key markets around the world. These investments are reshaping the global automotive landscape, creating new jobs and opportunities in regions that were previously just sales markets. But this shift is not easy. It requires massive financial commitments, building new supply networks for parts, and retraining workers to handle advanced manufacturing technologies. Companies must also work closely with local suppliers to ensure quality and efficiency, which can be a complex and time-consuming process. To fund these changes, companies like Volvo are looking for ways to cut costs in other areas, streamlining operations, and finding efficiencies wherever possible. Every dollar saved can be reinvested into building new factories, upgrading equipment, or training employees for the future. However, constructing a new factory is a long-term project. It can take several years from breaking ground to rolling the first car off the assembly line. During this time, companies must carefully plan every detail, from hiring workers to sourcing materials, to ensure a smooth launch. There's no quick fix for the challenges facing the industry right now. Many factories are running below capacity and some workers are left waiting as companies transition to this new model. As a result, some car brands have temporarily stopped selling certain models in the US, leaving gaps in the market that competitors are eager to fill. This period of adjustment is creating both uncertainty and opportunity across the industry. The blueprint for a stronger, more resilient car industry is being drawn up in real time, even as the old ways of doing business unravel. The build-where-you-sell revolution is just beginning, and its impact will shape the future of the automotive world for years to come. For shoppers, the new reality means higher prices and fewer choices. The fancy car market gets smaller as German brands leave, and there's less competition. The industry is breaking into local markets, each with its own rules and costs. The build-where-you-sell idea is not as good, making prices go up for everyone. The global car is being replaced by the local car, a sign of a divided world. Trust in trading with other countries is broken, and political risks now affect every investment. The big experiment with taxes didn't work, leading to job losses in a smaller market. The crash has happened, and the car industry will never be the same.